Hello, hello. Welcome back to season 2, episode 1 of the Sleepover podcast. I have missed you guys so much. I really miss podcasting and yapping because that's what the girls say now. I miss running my mouth, but I do have a confession. I almost didn't come back, but I felt like I still had an assignment here, and I still feel like there's some purpose here. And as much as I'm humble enough to gracefully bow out when it's that time to be done here, I just still feel like I'm meant to be here. I still feel like there's some glory, something on the table. So until I feel like God is calling me away from here, y'all still have me. But we do have some updates. Just a quick update for the podcast. We are no longer doing the Vibes on Ice segment just because I feel like it is very unnecessary and uncalled for, and it probably makes the episodes longer than they need to be, which means I have more work to do. So we're no longer doing that, but I will be keeping the playlist up. I will be keeping the playlist on YouTube. I will be keeping the playlist on Apple Music. And I'll still be adding music to the playlist, but as far as like all the other stuff, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. So that was an update for the podcast, but now I guess I should update you guys on me because it's been a while since we've talked. And I've been overwhelmed lately. I don't know if it's from seasonal depression or if I'm just feeling anxious from premenstrual dysphoric disorder or if I'm just overstimulated because I'm neurodivergent and I am always overstimulated. There are definitely a lot of factors that you can consider when it comes to me. But one thing I am sure about is that I feel overwhelmed because I'm considering making big life transitions and I feel like some of them need to be made sooner rather than later. So I'm really just raking my brain on finding all the answers. Like some of the things that I've been feeling so overwhelmed with is, do I want to stay in my apartment or do I want to move to a new apartment? And do I want to make a shift or a change in my career? If so, what would I want to do? Do I want to follow my passions and possibly burn out on my passions? Or do I want to do a career shift to where I'm making more money but I'm still unfulfilled? Or do I just want to stay? Also, too, I am considering freezing my eggs, and that is a very expensive decision. Fertility treatments in general are very expensive, and egg freezing, I don't know if it's necessarily new, but a lot of insurance companies sometimes don't really cover that, and it's expensive out of pocket, but I am 31. I want kids. I want marriage, but I'm also not actively dating. And I'm not actively dating right now because I'm overwhelmed. I am not that type of toxic person that I feel like I'm going to give someone 50% or 75% when I know that I can give them more. So I'm not going to lead anybody on or like have them stick around if I feel like right now I'm overwhelmed. I can't give you all of me. I can't give you like the best version of me. So, yeah, that is kind of where I'm at with that. And I'm still also just finding my people and establishing newer friendships. And I want to make sure I'm still present in my family and working on those relationships. I think sometimes we take our family for granted because it's like they've always been here, they'll always be here, but life is not playing fair these days, and that's not true. So I want to make sure that I'm being present in my family and still just being able to pour into those relationships. So that is just a little snippet of what has been going on with me. And speaking of moving on in careers and apartments, I wanted to speak on stagnation and just share some insight and revelation that I recently got. So, God often talks to me And I know that he's talking to me when I'm hearing the same message from different sources, but they're all mimicking the same message and they all kind of flow together in a way. So, if you don't know, now you know, I am a big Grey's Anatomy's fan. I've been watching it for over a year now because that's how many episodes there are. But, anyways, last night I was watching the 400th episode of Grey's Anatomy, and this is the part where you should probably fast forward like a minute or two because I'm going to give a little recap and I might spoil things for you if you have not seen it yet. But essentially, the theme of the episode was the end of an era. So, Meredith Grey, the main character, is trying to figure out if she wants to just start over fresh and move to Minnesota where she has a better career opportunity, where the new man that she's in love with lives, just all around start over new, or if she wants to stay at Grace Sloan Memorial Hospital where she was a baby doctor at. She pretty much grew up there because her mother is also a legendary, iconic surgeon who grew up there as well. So she's trying to figure out if she wants to stay loyal to this hospital that pretty much raised her, that she grew up in, that she did her internship and her residential program at, and now she's chief of general surgery. But this hospital is also a place where she had so much trauma and she went through so much. She lost so many people and she's been through a lot at this hospital, but basically she's trying to figure out if she wants to stay loyal to the hospital, if she wants to start over new and just make the move to Minnesota and just start afresh. But the people who she works with, they're kind of being buttholes and they're upset with her because she wants to move or whatever. But the guy that she is in love with says something that really resonated with me. He said that when you've been at a place for so long, it makes it harder for you to leave. And I heavily resonate with that when it comes to both the career shift and the moving out or to a new apartment. I think that both of them have been my comfort zone and my safety net for so long. Like at my job, I was able to move out and move into my first big girl apartment. I was able to pay off my car note. I was able to pay off my credit card debt. And then the same goes for my apartment. I've healed so much in this apartment. I've learned so much in this apartment by myself. I have went through an entire quarantine by myself in this apartment. I've hosted events and had people over, and it's just like so many memories here at this point. I've decorated to where some things don't even look recognizable like how they looked when I first moved here. It's so much. Like I feel like I've grown in these places and they really are like my comfort zone and my safety net. And right now, I'm just like, do I step out of my comfort zone in both areas at the same time? Do I change one, give it some time, and then do the other? Or do I just stay put but stay comfortable? And so I ended up watching that episode of Grey's Anatomy. And then I went straight from Grey's Anatomy to Wednesday night Bible study at the Potter's house. And Pastor Don Johnson was preaching. Forgive me, I do not remember the name of the message, but I think it was called something along the line of open doors. And the message was about how God has opportunity and blessings for us, but we have to walk through and move towards the open doors in order for our faith to work. And we often think of God as this genie, of God as this deity who just gives us answers and answers our prayers and questions while we do nothing. We just stay in place and we stay in our comfort zones. We stay stuck, we stay stagnant, not moving. But in order to maximize our faith, we have to move. And so Pastor Don gave this beautiful analogy. And okay, so think of it like if you're going into, say, like a supermarket or something. They often have, the doors that automatically open. And he said that when you are moving towards the doors, they automatically open. When you make a move towards the doors, they automatically open. But if you're just standing there, standing still, the doors are not going to open for you. They're not going to move. And that is kind of how our faith works in this season. Like we have to move towards something in order for us to gain access to those blessings and opportunities that God has for us. For me personally, for so long, I've been saying my next move has to be my best move. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with making educated and well thought out decisions before going off the deep end with some things. But if you're constantly raking your mind trying to make your next move your best move, you will realize that you actually haven't moved at all. You've been stagnant, and you're only stagnant if you stay. You're only stagnant if you keep coming up with the I don't know, what if excuses. I don't know how to do this. I don't know where to go. What if it doesn't work out and I fail? You only fail if you don't make a move. I've mentioned this scripture before. It's in Hebrews 11, which is like the faith hall of fame, but I've mentioned it before where God was talking to Abraham and he told Abraham to go to a place that he will tell him. And I was confused when I read that scripture. I was like, well, God, how does he know where to go if you're not telling him where the place is as of right now? But God told me, he was just like, he moved. He just started, and God ordered his steps once he saw that Abraham had the faith to just make a move. You're unfulfilled at that new job too? Cool. Now you know, when you know you got to switch something else up. That person broke your heart? Cool. But you learn boundaries. You learn what you do and do not desire in order to be in relationship with people. That is literally what God taking you from glory to glory looks like. You make a play, you might hit or miss it, but you did it. And you're able to collect that data and figure out what your next move is. So make a move or you're really going to become complacent. And that's just kind of where I am right now. Like, even if I have no idea how things are going to turn out, even if I don't know where I'm moving, even if I'm not sure what my next career move is or what I even want to do next, I just have to move my butt. I got to get the heck up out of here and just make a move. And I know that God will continue to open doors and continue to give me insight and divine revelation concerning his plans for my life. So last season, I started giving you guys journal prompts at the end of each episode, and that's something that I want to continue to do. And I'm thinking maybe this season on the beginning of each episode, maybe I'll share some thoughts or ideas that I had from the previous journal entry. But this is our first episode. So, our first journal prompt is going to be to write down short term or long term goals and then write down the steps you need to take in order to accomplish them. I think it'll be a really good journal prompt just to kind of gauge where you are. I think so often we make goals and then that's just it. We expect the goals to just happen with no plan, no movement, no nothing. So, make a plan. That is the journal prompt. But that is it for me, you guys. I'm about to go hop on my family's prayer line, so I will talk to you at the next sleepover.